Putnam Cemetery, located on a 2-lane stretch of highway between several small ghost towns in Neosho County, Kansas. This cemetery bears only its name, no dates, no other information, possibly leading one to conclude that this cemetery is defunct or abandoned. Though that doesn't seem to be the case after having looked closer. While many of the headstones are from the early to mid 1800s and 1900s, there are at least 2 from this century being laid to rest as recently as 2022. Research of the area led me to only one Putnam in the area, Douglas Putnam. Originally, a town called Erie, now referred to as Old Erie, was started 2 miles northwest of the present town site and 2 miles southeast of another town that was started. The proprietors of the 2 towns made a compromise with each other, agreed to abandon both places, and selected the new present town site for the new location. This was in 1866. The town of Erie was organized by a decree of the probate court December 25, 1869, with J. A. Wells, G. W. Dale, John McCullough, Isaac M. Fletcher, and Douglas Putnam as trustees. On the 30th of the same month, the trustees met and declared the town a city of the 3rd class. Thereupon, J. A. Wells was elected as mayor of the city and proceeded to appoint the officers necessary to put the city government into operation. At this time, a census of the city was taken, and the population was found to be, according to the returns, 809. The town's progress was suddenly and effectually checked in 1872 by a fire, which swept away the best business blocks of the town. In July of 1873, a destructive cyclone swept through the county. About 15 houses were blown down in Erie, and 11 persons were severely wounded, but nobody was killed in Erie. The possibility of storms having taken out the original homestead and surrounding settlements is highly likely. Judging from the symbols on these headstones, many of the people buried here were esteemed members of their community. Many fraternal organization symbols ranging from the Freemasons, Knights of Columbus, Order of the Eastern Star, and possibly more that were illegible due to weather and erosion. Even classic symbols and styles, such as pillar-style headstones, hands shaking, praying, and even books, opened and closed. So, it seems safe to say that this cemetery falls under one of these three categories. Family cemetery. As the name implies, this type of cemetery is family-owned. It may simply be a designated area on a family-owned land where family members and perhaps a few close friends were buried. At one time, there were thousands of such graveyards in the United States. While family cemeteries are still legal in most states, they are no longer common. Customary cemetery. This is the least official type of cemetery. Rather than being owned by a particular family, corporation, church, or other group, it is simply a place where a group of neighbors or some other group started burying people because it was convenient to them. Like family cemeteries, this type of cemetery was much more common in rural areas during the early settlers. This type of cemetery is the most easily forgotten and can be frustrating for genealogists and researchers, since they often lack accurate burial records due to the informal arrangement. Lodge cemetery. These cemeteries are owned and operated by fraternal groups or other clubs such as the Oddfellows, Elks, or Masons. Although you may assume otherwise, these cemeteries often allow non-members to be buried here as well. What kind of cemetery do you think this is? If you have any questions, comments, issues, or concerns, please feel free to leave a comment. I love to read them. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and maybe even tell a friend. Thank you for hanging out, and I'll see you next time.